And we're back here on another episode of the Pitch Putt and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Before we get rolling, though, a couple shout outs to some sponsors here. We're going to start off with Shady Shafts. Make sure you guys go check out shadyshafts.com. Promo code PUFF20. PUFF20, save yourself 20% at checkout. What they offer is wraps for your clubs, irons, drivers, wedges, woods. It doesn't matter. Customize it to whatever club you want. A few different options he has over there. He's got for the 420 and the Pitch Putt and Puff listeners, they got the cannabis flower with the smoke effect, and then I got the customized RGB right in there. They have some camouflage options, American flags, a bunch of different options over there at Shady Shafts. So make sure you guys go check them out. Something for every golfer. ShadyShafts.com, promo code PUFF20. Save yourself 20% at checkout. Make sure you guys go and support them. Also, go give some love to Back Nine Botanicals. They've been taking care of the Pitch Putt and Puff here with the Players Blend, the Birdie Boost, as well as the Moonlight Mulligan. Awesome, especially dry January. CBD is very helpful for taking away those little kicks for alcohol. From the research I've been doing, not that I'm a drinker at all, but I've been seeing it on the Instagram and such. But make sure you guys go check out Back Nine Botanicals. Promo code TPUFF10. TPUFF10 will save yourself 10% at checkout. So go check them out, Back Nine Botanicals. Also, you got to check out my man over at Go for Golf. Always hooking us up. GoForGolf.com. You can find them on Amazon. You got the Bearded Man. We also have the cannabis flower, middle finger, the drippy smiley face. So go check out my man Christian over at GoForGolf.com. He's also a big supporter of the Pitch Putt and Puff crew. So make sure you guys go show him support. Tonight we're going to talk to some being the new year, and everybody's into that new year, new me with the nutrition and stuff. We're going to talk a way you can involve cannabis in your nutrition and with the diet, getting into the gym and such, with Cann Nutrition. I got a weird local connection here we'll talk a little bit about, but I'm going to take a quick break and we'll get right into it. And we're back here on the Pitch Putt and Puff. Once again, my name is Roger, a.k.a. RGB. And joining me tonight, we got Beth from Cann Nutrition. Beth, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I came across your page not too long ago, and I was very intrigued because of the way you incorporate cannabis into your workouts and just your everyday lifestyle. And more obviously as a medicinal use and more to a recreational purposes for like a lot of people that probably listen to the Pitch Putt and Puff. But with the new year, everybody's going to the gym, so why not figure out a way to involve some cannabis to it. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started the whole Cann Nutrition?
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. And yeah, my evolution is a little bit of a long story, so I'll give you the shortest version I can. I'm a personal trainer. For the last 16 years, I've been a personal trainer up here in upstate New York. But also I did a stint in Northern Virginia too. So I kind of been around, personal training for a long time. And I actually came to cannabis late in life. So I was always healthy, always fit. I think it was my destiny to be a personal trainer just because I love fitness and I love working with people. But I always struggled with anxiety. I always struggled with body image and different disordered eating, which turns out is just a product of being a woman of growing up in the 90s, right? So that's,
sure.
Yeah, not unusual. But and so super fast forward to about 6-7 years ago, I was training group fitness. I've worked at all the gyms. I've done, one-on-one, I've done groups, I've taught classes, all that stuff. I was teaching a class and telling the class just, there's a lot of chit chat in group training classes as women do. And was just telling them about how anxious I was about an upcoming trip. We were going to Disney World and taking my stepson, and can be a very stressful place if you're, a little sensitive like me. So,
I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm stressed out to the max. So yeah,
Are you
I know
really?
I know where you're coming from. Yes.
Yes, so you get it, right? It's like the
Yes.
lines and the people, and it's
Yes.
crazy, and the kids are little, and it's just like it was so stressful. So
Yep.
anyway, so this one girl comes up to me after class and says, "Hey, I have something for you, and I'll bring it. I'll bring it for you tomorrow." And so I was like, "Whatever." It's like, okay. So next thing I know, next day. She walks into class with a bag, and I didn't know what was in it at the time. It was a bunch of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And she like kind of hands it to me discreetly and was like, "Hey, go put these away, somewhere safe." And I was like, "Okay." And so that was my very first introduction to cannabis, believe it or not,
Okay.
was somebody slipping me edibles to help with my anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out to be like one of the greatest things ever because while I think the intention was largely to have it be recreational, it turned out to be super medicinal for me. And it turned
Right.
out that like trying weed for the first time opened my eyes to like who I really am. It
Mm-hmm.
really like, long story short, and again, fast forward now 6 years later, and it's helped me, it's just helped me uncover everything. It helps me manage anxiety. It helps me embrace fitness. It helps me with eating behaviors. It helps me be more mindful in general with eating, with my movement. It helps me stay on track with
Yep.
all of those things. So I was healthy and as a trainer beforehand, but once I started using it and then once I started loving it, I did a deep dive and became a cannabis coach. So I got certified in the medicinal properties of it. And I just realized how well it goes together.
Mm-hmm.
Like just about all the things we love about cannabis are ways to help us be more healthy with our fitness and our nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Especially like athletes use it just on the rest and recovery end, just
Yes.
instead of taking or just like the pain. Like I'll never, when I was playing sports growing up, I was football, baseball, basketball, God, my whole life. And I never, like, as I got older in my like 20s and 30s, I was the same way. I didn't really, well, I used it in probably 18, 19 is when I first started using cannabis. But prior to that, when I was in high school, I really didn't because I was
Yeah.
sports kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I started using it like I would be sore from having a football tournament. We'd play three games in a day in a flag football tournament in
Yeah.
90-degree weather. I'm sore the next day. Well, guess what? I'm gonna go smoke a joint so I can get a good night's sleep out of this kind of thing.
Yes.
And people don't realize the properties of it besides the recreational. Like a lot of people obviously using it recreational, sure.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people who use it for the medicinal side of it. Now, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
because you were late to the game, and it's funny because I always try to, when I introduce someone to cannabis, I try to slow roll them in same way. Here's
Yeah.
try a gummy, try a little 5 milligram gummy, see what it does to you.
Yeah.
Some people, hey, I didn't feel anything. Okay, let's try 10. Okay, 10 didn't do nothing. Let's go to 20. We'll slow roll you up there, but
Exactly.
you got to so that you got a good introduction. Whoever introduced you to it did it the right way. They didn't make you go rip the bong 5 times and get
Right.
all toasted to where you can't even function. They slowed you into it to where
Totally.
you enjoyed it, to where you actually enjoyed it and didn't scare you away from it. And might have even took away that stigma of, oh my God, I'm getting high kind of thing too. Like the fear of getting high. So
Totally.
I totally get where that was a great way. Whoever introduced you to it, that's
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
perfect way to do it.
Totally. I'm so grateful. And that's one of the reasons too why I'm so passionate about I've had such a great experience this whole time with it. And so I want other people to have that great experience too because to your point, like so many people either tried it when we were young and didn't have a good experience then,
Right.
or they're kind of just being brave one day and trying it randomly or without a proper introduction, and then they're not liking it, and it's because it's too much. It's either too much or it's not enough.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Doing that hero dose where they're taking 100
Yeah.
milligrams their first time and they're
Yeah.
flying to the moon. The couch is flying off. One of
Yes,
those buzzes.
exactly. And then they hate it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I'll never do that again."
Yep.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I love getting out here and talking and meeting people. And the more we can spread the word and the more we can educate people about how great it can be once you get used to it, once you learn about it, then the more people can benefit from it.
Right.
Even if you thought you wanted to use it recreationally, but it turns out it's actually helping you sleep or it's helping your pain. I swear by, I do love to, I do the dry herb vape. So,
Okay.
that's what I do all day, but I do swear by one of the creams too for just joint pain, neck
Yeah.
pain, that kind of stuff. It's a
Yep.
game changer.
My
Yeah.
guys over at the Helium Collective, they have a CBD option as well, and they gave me a bomb. And I'm telling you, I use this for my lower back. I was telling you what I do for work prior, and I'm
Yeah.
physical labor all the time, so
Yeah.
I'm moving, constantly doing stuff. And then
Yeah.
when I'm out during the summer swinging a golf club 4 or 5 days a week, my back bothers me. So literally I'll come home at night, rub some of that on there, go to sleep. I wake up in the morning. All right, let's start all over. Let's go as long as we can till this back hurts again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. Well,
it
that's
works. It
it
works.
totally works. And especially with a physical job and playing golf. I've trained a lot of golfers. I think I was telling you this online. And I've run a couple of golf kind of clinics, and I've worked with some of the LPGA players. And so golf. The thing about golf and golf swings is that it's a unique motion in that each side is doing something different, right? So normally with our body, when we do movement, we want our body to be as symmetrical as possible, right? Even when you look at bodybuilders, right? They're doing their poses and they're being judged on how symmetrical their bodies can be.
Yeah.
And so in order to prevent injuries, we want our bodies to be even. We want them to be balanced. You want your right side to be able to handle what your left side can handle and vice versa.
Sure.
And with golf, each side is doing something completely different, right? And so you're using your muscles off balance.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking. I never thought about it like this, but yeah, you got me. You got me thinking now.
From a structural standpoint, when you think
Yeah.
about the swing and the mechanics of it, you're very susceptible to overuse injury and injuries just from being off balance, we'll call it. Your one arm is going to be because you're swinging one way with that arm and the other arm's doing something different at the same time, right? They're building strength in different areas. So it's really important that you have a lot of self-care, a lot of TLC, I call it, where you're making sure that your muscles recover. And, cannabis is an excellent way to promote recovery, relaxation, creams and balms, but also stretching and things like that too. Do you stretch a lot? Because you are active?
I do. So for work, I don't really stretch. I just kind of wake up and go kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when I go to do something active, even from golfing, sometimes, yes, I hop out of the car and go. But when I get to that second or third tee box, I'm getting out of the cart and I'm really trying to, now I'm all right, I'm loosening up a little bit. I'm not usually if I'm hopping out of the car to the tee box, like I do sometimes, I'm not going to that first tee and looking to put one 320 down the middle. I'm looking to hit one, just to get it out there and hope for the best until we figure it out. So I kind of, 10 years ago, I probably would have came out and swung for the fences and pulled my back out or something like that. But no, now that I'm older and know my limits, yes, I'm a little bit more careful with it, because I was that guy playing sports with basketball or football, show up 10 minutes before the game and run on the field, and all of a sudden I pull a hamstring or strain a calf.
Yes. Yeah, we've definitely all been there. Well, I will tell you, a stretching routine would really help. Not to preach on you today, but stretching routine would really help. But here's the amazing thing is when you use cannabis, and I love THC for this, but THC and stretching. So just getting down on the floor when your mind has gone into that place where you can just get deep into your body is amazing.
And you get in that relaxed state. You got to have that relaxed state.
Get into that relaxed state and you will get the best stretch of your life. I would just pick one, because I don't want you to have to think too hard about it, but pick one stretch that feels really good. Get down on the floor and just get into it. And just spend a couple minutes on the floor in that relaxed state and you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have the best stretch of your whole life.
I'm
And
gonna
your
try it.
back's gonna feel good. You should totally try it. Yeah.
I'm gonna, because my back's bothering me as we're
Is it?
speaking. Yeah, it's
Is
been a
it?
long. Yeah, so I've had a long. I go down to the city for like Thanksgiving. I go down for like a week after. My buddy has a Christmas tree business,
Yeah. Oh,
and
cool.
I help him deliver trees and work at his unload the trucks with him and do like physical labor for the whole. I don't know, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, pretty much. So
Wow.
I go hard, and I'm like feeling the ramifications of it now because I'm still going to my regular job.
Yeah.
So I'm doing double duty, and like I probably last 2 weeks, like from Christmas to New Year's, I didn't do anything. I recorded like 2 podcasts just for something to do, but other than
Yeah.
that, like we went to the bunker one night up in Clifton Park there, and
Oh,
other
awesome.
than that, I haven't done anything. It's been awesome. It's been
Good.
awesome.
Good for you. You need to.
You
Yeah.
have to though. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself
You
first.
do.
Absolutely.
No, for
Absolutely.
sure. For
So
sure.
let me ask you now: have you noticed since the past couple of years with cannabis becoming legal in New York, more people susceptible to accepting, going to like reaching out to you, opposed to like people being scared to be like, well, I know cannabis is illegal, but I'm interested, kind of thing? Are you getting more of like a comfort zone? People are like
Oh,
letting go.
so I guess I didn't finish my full story. I should finish my story
All
because
right.
so I didn't start Canafit until 2 years ago when it became legal. Because
Gotcha.
I was in the cannabis closet and I didn't think people would think it was okay for a personal trainer to be smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that was going to be, I didn't want that to be like a stigma. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
Sure.
I don't know what they're going to think of that, so I'm just not going to say anything unless it's someone that I know also accepts that. So when it became legal, I was like, okay, this is the time now, and we're going all in. So I'm all in on this. I'm all in. I'm passionate as hell about putting this together because I feel like there's not very many of us talking about this,
Nope.
right?
Nope, at all. That's literally so. Like when I was trying to think of a name for the podcast and
Yeah,
do the whole the podcast thing, like
yeah.
our crew it's up to like 16 guys now, but it started off like 8 guys.
Cool.
We go every Sunday. There we go out. We play our round. We come back in. Everybody pulls a card. Whoever has the matching card, like King King, Ace Ace, that's your team. Lowest score wins. But we're all out there, and everybody brings their pre-rolls and their vapes or their gummies, and it's just like everybody's smoking. We're playing golf. I was like, all right, what's a good name? So I
Yeah,
just came up with this to be different, to try to stand out. But
right.
it also, in a way, I mean, I don't know if you have the same issue, but you get the shadow ban where you're not getting as many like people. Certain posts of mine, like when I first started doing this, me and my buddy Anthony has another podcast, the Upstate Golf Guys. We pretty much put up the same post at the same time, and his got like 70,000 views, and mine literally got like 700.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, gee, so I had to change the logo up. Like this,
Really?
so you can't really see it, but the original logo behind me is the golf ball smoking a joint. Well, I put now this one here in the corner is he's kind of hiding it, so I can kind of put something there or put a T, make it look like a T or
I
something.
see.
So I got to try to be creative with it.
Yeah. No, I see. I find I have that exact same struggle. Exact same struggle. I mean, I've been banned from making ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can't do
Yep,
any of that. You have to hide all your words, and I mean,
it's
so
crazy.
it's crazy and it's tough, but I think it's worth it. Honestly, I think it's worth us to just keep standing strong because this is the future.
Right, this is where it's going. Like in a lot of kids too, like I see like a lot of younger kids aren't drinking anymore.
Yeah.
They're hitting their vapes and smoking, smoking a pre-roll or whatever the case, or a lot of kids do the dabs and stuff like that. That looks like rocket science to me, so I don't even get involved in
Yeah,
that too
I know,
often.
right? Yeah, that's too
I'm
fancy.
I'm 41. I'm old school. I'll roll a joint.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
with those guys and stuff, like you don't really even see a lot of kids at the golf courses like drinking a lot. It's more you're out
Yeah,
there smoking, and or you see the a lot of old guys got the vapes. A lot of older guys I see that have the vapes. They're very trying to be slick about it, but
yeah.
obviously we all know what they're doing out there.
Right. We know what they're doing. But alcohol is literally poison. And
It's poison.
I have been saying this, my whole career has just been trying to get people to stop drinking. And now I have something else to offer them,
Yeah.
which is the point with the kids. Like I have a 17-year-old stepson. And when you and I were 17, like you were the big thing about that age is you go get drunk and then you end up sick. And then, it's like this whole disaster. Well, we haven't encountered that with him. Him and his friends, like they're smoking weed. And it's like, I mean, I can't condone, I can't approve of it necessarily, but I also think it's way better than drinking. So go for it,
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we were out there, where's the $5 cup party? That's where we're going tonight, kind of thing. What field are we going to drink in tonight? But you don't see these kids doing that nowadays.
No.
So it's more just chilling. They're chilling somewhere. And like with that, though, you probably know where he is. He's probably sitting down in the basement playing video games and you have nothing to worry about.
Exactly. He's not going to get into a car with somebody. Someone's not going to accidentally get alcohol poisoning and die or not going to the hospital. Like none of that stuff. And it just takes off a whole worry as a parent. Like I don't have to worry about any of that. Like he's safe. And it's,
I remember I had a friend go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning, and I was the one who had to make the phone call to all the parents and everything else because I was the most sober out of everybody, and everything. It was wild night. But like that's kind of one of the honestly, that was my point in my life where I was like, I really don't want to drink anymore. Like just because I seen what it did to and how it was, and I mean, I drink a little bit, but I was thinking about this not too long ago. The last time I drank was literally like a year ago. It was crazy. Thanksgiving of last year when I was down in the city. But I might have a White Claw at the golf course, but I can't recall that was the last time I got drunk was over a year ago. It's just it's not me. It's never really was.
Yeah. And you don't miss it. You probably don't miss it at all. You probably haven't even thought about it. Yeah.
You wake up, you feel like shit. You don't want to do nothing. It's not worth it. The only time I ever get a weed hangover is if I take too much gummies.
Oh, yeah. Does that do that for you?
Yeah. I wake up so groggy. It just takes me a little bit to get going. And then once I do, I'm good. It's almost like, what do they call it? Hair of the dog. I spark a joint up in the morning. I'm good to go.
Exactly.
So now with the workouts, I see you have a bunch, you have some different plans and stuff like that. So do you have different strains you recommend for certain type of things like diet or obviously I know certain sleep and stuff like that. So how do you go about all that?
Definitely. Well, the thing about it is it's unique to the person. So, what we start with is, what's keeping you from your workouts, right? What's keeping you from eating healthy? A lot of times it's sleep, believe it or not, is and that's, if you're not sleeping, you definitely don't want to work out. You're just not feeling like you're doing anything, right? Or, a lot of times it's stress. So sometimes we have to tackle that underlying issue first. And so again, everybody's different. But some people do come to me and say, hey, what can I use while I work out? And then that's a very different answer. So, if it's sleep that they need to tackle, then we'll tackle that with an indica, a nighttime kind of strain, depending on the person. And it's different too, because everybody's experience level is different. So, one of the things I really enjoy about what I do is it's very customized. When people come to me, it's like, okay, well, we're going to sit down, we're going to spend some weeks together here because we got to figure this out. We got to try things. We got to make notes, then we got to see, because a lot of times I'm introducing them to things and they may not be comfortable finding their own strains or selecting.
Sure.
Some people have different experience levels, I guess. Let's say that, or different comfort levels. But yeah, but a lot of it is, and in the education portion of my program too, I do education about terpenes and I teach them about things like that so that they can have enough knowledge to be able to go into Leafly and look up strains and figure out how to pick out the ones that might be good for them. And that's usually how far I get people is I'm like, okay, this is how you do this so that when you're interested in shopping, you can go into Leafly, punch in the ones that are interesting to you, or if you learn to like sativa, learn to like indica, learn to like hybrids, whatever it is. And And then let's see if we can figure out which terpenes you like,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have a better idea of what to pick.
Right. So that's the funny thing too, is like I noticed for myself, like when I was getting things back in the day off the, they call it the legacy side of things, you never knew if you were smoking indica or sativa or what you were getting.
Yeah.
But now that, like, when I go to the dispensary and I grab a pre-roll, and this one here I got to dank Randy Marsh that I got from my boy Junior over at Transcend Wellness. This one here is it's a hybrid. So this is good for like either or, daytime, nighttime kind of thing. But I know if I'm going to smoke an indica, I'm going to smoke it at nighttime because it's going to put me to sleep. It's going to put me in the couch, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I always say. So
yeah, for sure.
I started paying attention to that though when I do purchase from the dispensary and know what I'm smoking. I'm like, all right, this is okay. It's sativa during the day. It will really keep me going. And I learned a lot about it on the podcast, opposed to just going and firing it up and hoping for the best.
Right. And I know we have so much information now. It's like fantastic. What's tricky, I'm finding, is that there's so many strains now. There's so many. Like I'm kind of getting used to the ones I'm seeing around here. And then I was on a website for, we're going out to California in a couple of weeks. So I was on a website for a dispensary out there because I was like, oh, I wonder what they'll have. Maybe we'll pop in and buy something. It's cheaper. Yeah. And then they had strains that I'd like never heard of. I was like, and I got to look all these guys up. Like it was, it's just, there's just a lot out there. It's a good thing. But
absolutely. Did you ever hear, since you're deep into it a little bit, did you ever hear the Mary Genetics?
No, what's that?
So I listened to it on the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. They had the guest on, Miss Pacalo. And what they do is basically they can go and take, the way she explained it, I'm going to butcher it, but you can take bring back like the old strains. You know how like sour diesel is very, like the old school sour diesel is very hard to come by. Yeah. But like she can take that and like originate it and clone it from one little piece of the weed. She could take it in like Jurassic Park type shit. With the strains is the best way I can describe it. Yeah, it was super cool, and the product looks awesome. So
that's awesome.
I would recommend trying some of that if you can. Mary Genetics, if you can get your hands on
Mary Genetics. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out.
I'll find out. Where are you going in Cali?
Joshua Tree.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can figure out any locations out there for you.
Yeah, if you do, let me know. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I have a lot of connections from California through the podcast with the golf club. We have the Legends Golf Club. They're started out in California. Well, we teamed up with them and started one here in New York. So.
Oh, no kidding! Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's very cool.
It's pretty cool. So I have a bunch of people out there in California we can reach out to. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just the networking of the podcast and stuff. It's super fun.
It really is. I've met so many cool people, very cool people. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. How long have you been doing the podcast?
Yeah. So my podcast, I just started it last year. So I really just started it. But yeah, and I'll have you on and we can chat about that stuff. For sure. Too. So I just started the podcast last year. It's the Cann Fitness and Nutrition podcast, and I talk about all kinds of things. I mean, cannabis, obviously, but I'm always trying to just draw that connection for people about how cannabis can support their goals, whether it's a fitness goal specifically, you're trying to get in shape or play a sport, or if it's weight loss, which, everyone's always trying to lose weight. I feel like it's like, that's, how it connects, so I'm always trying to connect it for people. So that's mostly what I've been talking about, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I seen it, and I was literally like I was going through, like I said earlier, I was going through the page, and when I seen that you were at a local restaurant, I'm like, well, there's no way that she's local. I would have came across you so long ago. And then I'm looking, I'm like, no, she's been posting for a while. This isn't a new page, like a recent page. I'm like, how did this not come across my page? We're right down the road from each other.
I know. Crazy. Isn't that funny? Well, I think what this tells me is that we need a better 518 network. Yeah. We need, maybe we can just start it because
I'm down.
I don't know if a lot of your listeners are in the 518, but we just need a network. We need a community because we're the ones that are going to help shape this future of helping people be healthier and kids being safer and all these benefits that we're talking about. We need
Absolutely.
the community to come together.
Absolutely. So that's like what my plan is to kind of do that in a way is I'm planning a tournament for the summer. So
You are?
yeah, so it's going to be the Pitch Putt and Puff Classic, or I don't know. I haven't really decided a name on it yet, but whatever it's going to be. So if I'm understanding right, you might be able to help me out with this. With Hochul passing that law, where I don't know if you've seen it recently. She just passed a bill or something, basically where like the helium guys or Dank or someone like that, they can go and set up at a farmer's market instead of having to go into the dispensary. They can go and distribute right on site. So in that case, it kind of opens up the door for me to have these guys come and set up at the course and set up at each hole, and then I can have Dank and Helium and whoever else all set up at all these different holes doing a dab station or a joint rolling contest or whatever the case, like stuff like that to make it different, but also have all these other people network with each other, different dispensaries, the whole 9 yards. So
that is it. That is it. This is exactly what we were saying. Yes, you are doing it. Oh my God. Where, when, and where, and how can I help?
So the plan is, my plan right now, I'm waiting to see if my home course, Freer Park in Troy, is going to do tournaments this year. If he's going to do a tournament and he'll okay it for me, I'm looking to do like July weekend after the 4th of July.
Awesome.
Where people are still in town, still looking to have a good time. I'm hoping to do something that weekend if it's available. If not, I'll work around. I'll figure it out, but around that weekend is my goal.
Yeah.
So it gives me enough time to get everything organized, get it situated, and get it up and running.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that in any way.
Yeah, I got big plans for it. I really like my vision for it. If I could put it together, I think it would be a really cool event because it would bring. This is what I always say too: is golf, music, and cannabis are 3 things that bring people from all different walks of life together.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's so crazy. But you go play golf, and then say you go out with you and someone else. And then all of a sudden you're playing with 2 other random people. By the end, you're exchanging phone numbers, looking to play the following week. It's one of those games. So
yeah, you're right. No, you're totally right. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
cool.
So
it's very cool.
One of those things. But so I always like to wrap up with 3 questions.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with some cannabis ones here.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite strain you've ever smoked? Your go-to strain
ever? Yep. Honestly, again, this is gonna sound.
You're trapped on an island. This is the only one you can smoke the rest of your life.
All right, then bring me the sour diesel.
Yeah, that's me all day. I love it. You can't find it anymore. I have.
Classic.
I'm in contact with AJ Sour Diesel to have him on the podcast. So.
Cool.
Hopefully me and him link up and he brings me a sample of what he's working with now because hopefully it's close to what we had back in the day, if not better.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
So that's one of my plans there. Now what's your method of favorite method of smoking? Are you joints, smoking vapes, edibles? What's your favorite preference?
I'm the dry herb vape. So I like to get put the actual flower in my little thing here and heat it up. Yeah. So I'm not burning it. It's supposed to be better on your lungs so that it's not hurting me when I'm working out. I like it. It tastes good too. It actually tastes much better.
It does. My buddy, one of our guys that in the Pitch Putt and Puff crew, he has one, but it's a little bit too big of a rig that he brings around. So when you're smoking it, it's like, bro, this is too much right now. I like a nice something small like you just had would be like perfect. Like a regular vape size. Yes, perfect.
Exactly. It needs to fit in my hand and my pocket. Yeah.
This thing's got like a hose on it and shit. It's too much. It's like a hookah.
No.
It's like a hookah. And then I'm gonna put this in a golf term as well. So if you're gonna go play around the golf and 3 cannabis influencers you would like to join you, who would they be?
Oh. That's a good question. Okay. Well, we're gonna go Mike Tyson, Snoop, and Martha Stewart. I would like to play golf with them.
Nice. That would be a good time. That would be a good time right there. Tyson would have some good 518 stories too from his days fighting back in RPI Fieldhouse.
Right? Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh yeah,"
if he remembers it all for sure.
if right. Yeah.
Awesome. Beth, I really appreciate your time. Why don't you let the listeners know where they can find you?
Yeah, thank you. I am on Instagram is where I hang out the most. It's Beth_Cann of Fitness Nutrition. I do have a website. It's cannoffitnessnutrition.com. And you can always email me. It's Beth@cannoffitnessnutrition.com.
Awesome. Appreciate your time. Appreciate
Yeah,
everybody tuning in to another episode of the Pitch Putt and Puff, and we will talk to you on Tuesday. Later.
thank you.